Do you really need to stretch before a workout? Or is it just a waste of time? For years, we've been told that stretching is the golden ticket to avoiding injuries and improving flexibility. But what if I told you that stretching before exercise might not be as effective as you think? And that most people are doing it completely wrong. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into stretching, what happens in your body, how long the benefits last, and whether it can actually prevent injuries. Misunderstanding stretching gauntlet. Picture this. You're at the gym getting ready to lift some heavy weights. Or maybe you're about to go for a run. You start stretching, pulling your hamstrings, holding a deep quad stretch, and then you feel ready. But are you? The truth is, a lot of people don't actually understand what stretching does. We tend to think of our muscles like rubber bands, stretch them out, and they'll be more flexible. Simple, right? Well, not quite. Muscles aren't just stretchy strings. They're made up of complex layers of fibers, tendons, and tissues that interact in very specific ways. And depending on how you stretch, you might not be getting the results you expect. In fact, you could even be making yourself weaker before your workout. So let's break it down. What really happens when you stretch? Understanding the science of stretching first, let's talk about the two main types of stretching. Dynamic stretching. This is movement-based stretching, like leg swings or arm circles. It activates your muscles and prepares them for exercise. Static stretching. This is when you hold a stretch for an extended period, like touching your toes for 30 seconds. Now, static stretching feels good, but here's the problem. Holding a stretch for too long actually decreases the force your muscles can generate. That means if you're doing a strength workout right after, you might not be able to lift as much as you normally would. So, does stretching actually prevent injuries? And if so, how long do the benefits last? What happens inside your muscles? When you stretch, you're not just lengthening your muscles like a rubber band. What's actually happening is that your muscle fibers and tendons are adjusting to the stress. Your muscles have something called viscoelastic properties, which means they behave kind of like dough. They stretch under stress, but over time, they return to their original shape. Here's what happens at the microscopic level. Inside your muscles are millions of sarcomeres, the tiny units that make up muscle fibers. When you stretch, these sarcomeres extend, which temporarily increases your range of motion. The longer you hold a stretch, the more your tissues adapt to the new length. But here's the catch: these effects are short-lived. Studies show that within 10 minutes of stopping your stretch, your muscles return to their previous state. That means if you stretch before a workout, but don't move much afterward, you're basically resetting your flexibility back to square one. So if stretching alone isn't enough, what's the best way to actually improve flexibility and prevent injuries? The best way to stretch for maximum benefits if your goal is to stay flexible and injury-free. Here's what you need to do. Use dynamic stretching before exercise instead of static stretching. Do active movements that mimic your workout. Think of things like leg swings, arm circles, and controlled lunges. This warms up your muscles and gets them ready for action. Save static stretching for after your workout. If you want to improve long-term flexibility, do your static stretches after your workout. When your muscles are warm and more adaptable, stretch consistently. One good stretch session won't make you permanently flexible. Research suggests you need to stretch at least 10 minutes a day for 2 months to see long-term improvements. Break up your stretching. Don't just hold one long stretch. Instead, do multiple rounds of shorter stretches to avoid overloading your muscles. Train your brain. Fun fact: your brain plays a huge role in flexibility. The more you stretch, the higher your pain tolerance becomes, meaning you can go deeper into stretches over time. Strengthen and stretch. Just being flexible isn't enough. You also need strength. Weak muscles and a flexible body can actually increase your risk of injury. That's why things like yoga, Pilates, or resistance training are so effective. Know when not to stretch. Believe it or not, stretching isn't helpful for every sport. If you're a long-distance runner, for example, stretching might not prevent the most common injuries you'll face. Instead, strengthening your muscles and joints is a better option. At the end of the day, stretching isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. So, what's the best approach? Move more, stretch smart, and stay consistent. And if you want more science-backed fitness tips, don't forget to subscribe to Simple Workout Space.